Hey Erica, this feedback or this video is going to be a little bit broader than the thing we're talking about, which was icons, right? So this is our Abyss Buyer's Guide. So the purpose of this, right, is to help somebody pick the right towel out of all the freaking different Abyss towels that they have, right? So I don't know if this is all of them. We'll just assume one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. There's eight different towels. That's a lot of information for a human being to keep in their head at one time, right? And there's studies that show three, five, whatever. Eight's a lot of things to consider in parallel. And then we talked about, hey, it's, made in Portugal from 100% Giza extra long staple Egyptian cotton. Well, guess what? The next one has the exact same thing. And the next one has the exact same thing. So this doesn't help me make a decision, right? So taking a step back, this page is guilty of what many websites do. And that is list all the information about a product, right? That is not what this page should do, right? This page should only highlight the differences between these products, right? And you actually, in the beginning, not you personally, right, but this page actually says all Abyss towels are made in Portugal. No need to repeat that on every single one of these. So what we want to be doing, and I mean this literally, and it's going to, most stores have a hard time with what I'm about to say, right, which is all of this text needs to be consolidated down to one, maybe two, preferably one line. Not sentence, one line, right? All of that down to one line. And I'm just going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Most stores don't help their customers make a decision, right? So what this is here, right, for each one of these is a whole bunch of information, like, what sizes it's available in, right? What it matches. Like, it's not telling me why I should buy this one. Why should I buy the Super Pile over the Twill? Why should I buy the Pusada or however we say that one, right? And I'm going to guess here right now, right? This is the best towel. You want the best, you get this. Right now, the problem is, and I remember the conversation we had about this one time, we being probably Mary, Tom, and I, way back when, and I think if I remember correctly, Tom doesn't like heavyweight towels, and he prefers lightweight ones, or maybe it was Mary. I forget which one, right? So then, it's not as easy as if you want the best. There's also some people like lightweight and all that kind of stuff. And every little factually true statement that you have to add in makes it harder for people to make a decision, right? If you just say the Super Pile is the best towel available, period, people are going to buy it because they want the best. Done. Now, if you say, maybe the Twill is a lightweight alternative, it's quick drying. Why do people want quick drying, right? I actually don't think they care about, maybe shorter drying time doesn't mean in the dryer. I just assume that was in the dryer because next to machine wash. But maybe it's, so why would people like a lightweight towel? Because that's the question I get to answer here. All out of the crap I would get rid of. And this is the lightweight option to the Abyss Super Pile for people who want quick drying towels for this type of scenario. And I don't know what those scenarios are. Maybe if you have a lot of kids, I don't know if people reuse towels or not, whatever. Now, maybe people get the waffle just because it's a fun pattern, right? So, this towel, I would say this is a fun pattern. This is the waffle alternative, which, because people like the look of it on the rack, or maybe it dries differently. I don't know. What's the one sentence summary for this puppy, right? And the next thing I'm going to say is, if there isn't really a difference, you don't have to talk about it. So, and I'm just going to make an assumption here. Maybe the spa bath towel is basically identical to your customers to the Twill bath towel. I don't know if it is or not. Let's just assume it is. And the difference might be some whatever thing that is. That's 350 GSM, so this is 500 GSM. It's quite possible you don't have to mention every single Abyss bath towel on your buyer's guide. Remember, 8 is way too many. If you could say, Abyss offers 8 different towels, and here's our top 4 picks for these reasons, that's a great thing to do, right? Super Twill, I think that's a pattern thing. Lino, green, I don't mix these green if they're still made of cotton, not bamboo. So, what's the difference? Why would I pick this over the other ones? Same thing with Montana. It looks like a herringbone pattern. These, I have no idea why people would pick them. But that's the hard part, is like taking these 8 towels. So, you've got this Abyss. You got 8 different towels to choose from. How do you just cut that list in half to start with? And what are the 4 you recommend and why, right? So let me show you what that looks like in execution. So here, these guys sell these cold therapy machines, and there's 8 of them. And what we saw, in looking at Hotjar recordings is people, and they have lots and lots of blog articles about how to, pick the right. And it's funny because it'll say, pick the right cold therapy solution for you. But then it never actually, and this is from the thing I'm about to show you here, we're actually starting to make recommendations. But what we saw in the videos, in the older videos, is cold therapy good for hip arthritis? And it would talk about all the different machines, right? And I don't know if this one actually does. Yeah, so here it says, hey, you can get the Wave, you can get the DonJoy Iceman, you can get the Kodiak. So it talks about the different machines, but it didn't make a recommendation. So then we kept this concept of staff pick, right? So this is a newer thing we added to this Blog article, which says, hey, the staff pick for hip is Bragg Polar Care, right? So what we did, because all the content said, here's your 6 options or 8 options, right? And for the hip, maybe there was only 3 that had a hip pad, so there's only 3 options, but it didn't say which one that recommended. So then we came up with the idea of staff picks. What we say is, if you have a knee problem, get this one. If you got a shoulder problem, get this one. If you got a hip problem, get this one. If you got ankle, get this one. And then you'll notice when we go into the product, we even say that it's the staff pick for ankle. And then if we search by body area and go to ankle, we show all the products and options they have, but at the bottom we say here's the staff pick. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a staff pick for the Abyss towels, but what I am saying is what we realized on these pages was that we weren't helping people make a decision. So this page before we put this little staff pick thing down here, just had a whole bunch of products, and we didn't help them make a decision. And we also had the guides, and if you went into the guides, they didn't help you make decisions either. It just showed you all the different ones. So here's the Wave. So this one they've refined since we came up with this idea of staff picks, and it just talks about the Wave. So what we started doing is, instead of showing people all their options from the product catalog, we started recommending which option to use for which scenario. Now, for you, wherever we were, I don't know where, there's this one here, right? For this buyer's guide, my recommendation, I'm sorry, this video is getting kind of long, but I get kind of passionate about this. And this is what I think separates expert, sites, sites that are doing really well from what everybody else does, right? Everybody lists their products. Very few people help people make a decision, right? So the buyer's guide for Abyss towels should say, hey, there's 8 different towels, click here to see them all. But here's our recommendations for 4 common scenarios, right? Scenario number 1 is you just want the best or the plushest or the most luxurious, whatever. Come up with those 4 buckets. Maybe it's the heavyweight one, the lightweight one, a cool pattern, and a fun whatever those scenarios are, and help people, put themselves inside of one of these buckets, right? Because what this is This is a list of product specs, right? What it isn't is a list of personality or home specs, right? So, for the super luxuriant house, you get this product, right? So I can't read this and say, oh, that's me, because this is about the towel. You want to turn it around and make it about the customer, right? And that's what we did here is instead of talking about the specs for the different products, we just did it as simple as, hey, if you have a knee problem, you get knee surgery, get this one. People are like, oh, I'm getting knee surgery. Oh, I go get this one. Easy to do, right? Because we're making a recommendation. Now, under knee, right, just show you how many, products we have under knee. And some of these are braces and some of these are cold therapy machines, right? But you got all these different choices under knee. But like, hey, boom, there you go. You need cold therapy? Get this one. So instead of that having to go in and out of all these product pages, read all these specs, which really don't help them make decisions, right? Like, I do not know what GSM is as the average customer, yet we talk about GSM all the time, right? Well, what does GSM mean, right? And that's, you guys are saying super absorption and extra softness. And this is where I came up with the icon idea in the beginning was, maybe you have a one-line description here that, this towel is best for blah, blah, blah scenario. And then you have a few icons for blah, blah, blah scenario. And that could be, super rich, thick, luxuriant feel. How do you turn that into an icon, right? And we'll figure out a way to do that. Or fast drying. How do we turn that into an icon? So, you got words, and then you also have images, and there's just one line of text and two icons, right? Think about that as your North Star on what we're trying to do with this page. How would you go about doing that? And thinking about that, that's hard, right? Totally hard. But if you do that hard work, then you're making it easy for your customers. Because right now, this page is relatively easy for you to build and really hard for the customer to make a decision. You want to turn that around. You want to come up with a hard page for you to build. And the hard part is coming up with just one line of text and two icons, right? If that's all you're allowed to do, no more than that. That's hard, right? Making this page have less text on it is the hard part. It's easy to come up with the full product specs, but that's really not helpful because, I got 8 of these and I got to read bullet point by bullet point to try to understand the differences. Way too much work for people. And it might just be as simple as, the weight as an icon, right? Heavyweight, medium weight, lightweight. Or maybe it's, instead of heavyweight, that's, rich and luxuriant feel. And lightweight is the icon is quick drying, right? So we're taking it beyond the weight and actually explaining the benefits of those weights. And then, a pattern thing or whatever, right? But hopefully that makes sense on why I think that most buyer's guides absolutely suck, right? And honestly, this page is a great example of it. This does not help people make a decision at all, right? But if you do a little bit of work, and that work is reducing the information on this page, right? And literally, this might be your differences, right? If you just had that, that might be what we're talking about. And then like an icon or two, kind of stuff. But, and, even less, because what's the difference between this lightweight and absorbent one and this lightweight and waffle? And maybe it's a texture thing, right? And this lightweight and textured twill. It's like too many choices still. Reduce the choices. And make it so when I get to this page, we're showing 4 towels. And it's easy for me to say, between these 4, this one is the right one for me. Hopefully that all makes sense. Thanks for listening to my rant.